Hello ladies and gentlemen and everything in between. Welcome back to What's on the Playlist today. Considering my name and my age, I'm sure it would come as no surprise to any of you that I have this album in my collection. Today I want to talk about the album You Can Tune a Piano But You Can't Tune a Fish by REO Speedwagon, which you can see an image right here. This is the 7th album, I think, by REO Speedwagon. I don't have a lot of their earlier albums. This album marked a bit of a shift for them in that it was the first one that was self-produced. It was produced by the lead singer-songwriter and lead guitar player. So it was also one of their first albums to really chart in the top 40. I think it peaked at 26. These songs that are basically the radio hits was Roll With the Changes and Time For Me to Fly. Time For Me to Fly has a bit of an interesting history in that it took Kevin Cronin years to get it produced and on an album. He'd actually pitched it for one of the previous albums, and their producer at the time said it was a crummy song, didn't like it, and the rest of the band backed him up. They didn't like it either. But he was like, I'm the singer-songwriter, how can this not be, you know, they were saying it doesn't sound like an REO Speedwagon song. It's like, I'm the guy who writes the songs, how can this not be an REO Speedwagon song? So he did, you know, he did some rearranging of the tunes and of the tune and stuff, and got it on this album, and it became one of their biggest hits. It only peaked at number 56 on the top 100 list, but despite that, it stayed in rotation on the radio for a long time. And it's been featured in a lot of songs and, a lot of movies and TV shows and stuff. Kevin Cronin said he wrote it about breaking up with his girlfriend, high school girlfriend. So, there was something else I wanted to say about this album. I'm drawing a blank. Hate when I do that. Oh, now I know what it was. The album itself. The album cover was rated one of the worst album covers of all time. A fish head with a tuning fork in its mouth. I think that was a magazine Pitchfork. In, I think in 2013, 2014, it was listed as one of the worst album titles of all time, which is just crazy. But you know, the songs in this album, especially Time For Me to Fly and Roll With the Changes, are some of the band's staple songs. I mean, I've heard Blazing Your Own Trail again on the radio as well, but I think, and Do You Know Where a Woman Is Tonight? But those I haven't heard on the radio in years. Those are mostly, I heard them more because I played the album itself. But yeah, this, I always find it funny, those things, you know, one of the worst album titles and one of the worst album covers of all time. When, I bought the album in part because of the title, even when I was a teenager. Being called Tuna from birth, basically, I had heard all the tuna jokes that were out there. I'd reached the point where, you know, it was more like, you know, ha ha ha. Yes, I've heard that all before. I actually got to the point where it's like, I would congratulate someone if they came up with something new. Because it was just, you know, you heard the same 4 or 5 jokes over and over and over again. But this album was a staple, one of the best albums of 1970, I think it was at least 1978, somewhere around there. And you know, one of the long hair, big hair bands of the late 70s, early 80s. Yeah, 1978. Damn, I know I had more to say about this, but it's completely slipped my mind. So, as usual, my album reviews are very short because I can't keep a thought in my head, apparently. It's all up here. As always, thanks for watching. As always, my stuff is crap. And until next time, good hunting.